On October 1st is Picture Retake Day. That's your chance to get a new school picture if you missed the first one, or if your mom said you looked like you had just eaten a sour pickle.
Or if your hair looked like you'd been in a tornado, which, let's be honest, it's every morning for me. October 2nd is the Johnson Fun Run. Students will be running to raise money for our school.
The money goes to the PTA for field trips, assemblies, and classrooms. So run fast, Jaguars, faster than when the lunch ladies announce it's Nacho Day. No school on October 10th or 13th because of parent-teacher conferences.
That's right. It's a time when your teachers tell your parents how you're doing in class. So if you've been forgetting your homework, let's just say your report card is about to snitch on you.
And don't forget, no school on Friday the 13th. Kind of spooky. Not because it's haunted, but because you're going to be at home with your little brother all day.
Now, Jaguars, we got some exciting news growing here at Johnson. Literally growing. Our school has a community garden.
That's right. Dr. Christina Campione, a parent and nutritionist, has been leading this project. Ursa is out of the garden right now to tell us more. Ursa?
Thanks, Jack and Lincoln. I'm standing here in the Johnson Community Garden. And today I get to talk with Dr. Christina Campione, who's both a parent at Johnson and a nutritionist. This garden is more just the plants. It's about healthy food, strong partnerships, and even helping families in the summer. That's why it's so important for our school and community. Dr. Campione, thank you for having us today. How did the idea for a community garden at Johnson first get started?
The idea came to me about 4 years ago. I was actually having a very casual conversation with, at the time, Finley's first grade teacher, Mrs. Castillo. We were talking a little bit about, she had made a comment about how nutritious the snacks that I send my kids in with were. And we were talking a little bit about how some of the students either weren't able to bring in snacks, or what they were bringing in maybe wasn't like the most nutritious or the best choice. And so what we ended up actually brainstorming about was I had called, and the administration and I kind of set up a committee in order to discuss, one, who we could partner with maybe to bring in snacks, make sure there was a consistent supply of snacks. And then that kind of grew and developed in what else can we do and provide for the community? How can we show up and make sure that we're providing nutrition education, healthy snacks, and potentially, as it developed into the garden and the vegetables, we knew we kind of had an open piece of land that wasn't necessarily being utilized for anything in terms of classroom space. And so from there, the idea kind of grew to turn that patch of grass into a community garden that was bringing fresh produce in for all of the students.
That's amazing. How do you think a garden is important for the school and community?
I think that it's really important, especially as people are across the board feeling the weight of how expensive things like groceries are getting. It's important to make sure that everyone, so the concept is called equity, it's making sure that like everyone has access to these nutritious vegetables without anybody kind of being like left behind or left out. And so I think it's important, one, because it's exposing everybody to just the access to the vegetables, but it's also educating people on what does it really mean to take care of our bodies? What does it mean in order to make sure that we're like aging in a healthy way and taking care of our bodies? Because you only get one, right? You don't get like a replacement. So how do we make sure we keep our bodies healthy, fed, and kind of happy, right?
Yeah. What are your goals for the garden now, and what do you hope it looks like in the future?
So we're kind of at a good midway point. We've been kind of in, I think this is our third growing season. And so we've kind of been working with this blueprint for a while. But what we're hoping for is we've actually been given permission to expand the size of the garden. We're also hoping to add additional fruit-bearing trees. Those will be brought in from the Morton Arboretum. So we're hoping to have a larger garden and a large free, what we call a community food forest, where people can come pick apples and fresh fruit, as well as increasing the amount of nutrition education that we're doing with the students in the building.
You partnered with the Morton Arboretum. How did that partnership happen, and what do you hope to accomplish with it?
So my two kids, who are Johnson students, actually participated in the Morton Arboretum preschool before they came to Johnson. And so we had a really great working relationship with the education team there. Once we kind of had the mission up and running in terms of what we wanted to do here at Johnson, I reached out to the team at the Morton Arboretum to see if our values kind of lined up with their mission statement and some of the things that they're doing in the food equity space. And they were more than excited to help us out. They are really generous with their time and their resources in supporting our mission statement, and we couldn't be more grateful.
That's pretty nice. You distribute food from the garden families during the summer. How does that process look like?
So what we do is the parents that help me run the community garden, we will designate a time to come check the garden. We water it and weed on a regular basis. We also check to see when the product might be ready to go out. We all come, we pick, we make sure the vegetables are clean, bundled, we have bags for the families to come pick up the produce in, and then we will message the administration team in the district, and they will push out either a text message or an email to all of the Johnson families to make sure they know when and where the drop will be. We then kind of structure it like a free farmers market. We'll set up a table, we'll bag vegetables for families. Anyone and everyone is welcome to come and take a free bag of produce home. And then once all the produce is distributed, we pack up for next time.
That's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any benefits since families have been receiving food from the garden?
Yeah, we've had a lot of really positive feedback from the community. People are really enthusiastic about not only having the access to the produce, but kind of what produce we tend to grow. We've also gotten a lot of really good feedback in terms of the education that we're doing. One of my favorite messages I've ever gotten was we did a lesson with the third graders a few years ago about nutrition and soil health. And at the end of the day, I got a text from another Johnson parent who made a joke that I don't know what you said to my kid today, but they're eating their vegetables. So that was one of my favorite moments in terms of getting this garden up and going.
We've heard about a greenhouse project. Can you tell us more about those plans and how Johnson students will get involved?
Sure. Part of my job as the head of the 501c3 or the nonprofit that runs the garden is that I've had to learn how to do some grant writing, which means asking people who are distributing money to small organizations like this to help us out. And so I applied for the Whole Foods Whole Kids grant last year, and we actually received it. So they granted us the money to purchase this awesome greenhouse back here. We'll be using it for basic things like storage and materials, but also in the spring, it will give us the ability to grow our seedlings from scratch. So rather than having to source them from a nursery every year, you guys, as students in the building, are gonna plant the seedlings for us. We're gonna grow them in the greenhouse, and then when they're ready, we're hoping to have the students get involved this year, put their hands in the dirt and actually put the seedlings into the ground.
That's amazing. What are some vegetables that you have in the garden?
So right now in this back corner, we've got peppers, chard, we have pumpkins growing in the corner. We had some cabbage, squash. These are all tomatoes, zucchini, tomatillos, kale, eggplant, and we have melon. It's a little messy. It's the end of the season here, but we've got a lot of product that came out of the garden this year.
May I try a vegetable?
You may, absolutely. You'd like a tomato?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get you a fresh one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's really nice.
It's really good.
Let me take another bite. Thank you, Dr. Campione, for sharing the story of the Johnson Community Garden. This really shows how one idea can grow into something that helps the whole community. Back to you, Jack and Lincoln.
On October 14th, there's a PTA meeting in the CLC. Students like us know how important it is when parents and teachers team up, because we all benefit.
So parents, if you are listening, join the PTA. It helps us with trips, events, and school support.
Plus, if you join, maybe you'll figure out what PTA actually stands for. Pretty Terrific Adults? Pizza Tasting Association?
Whatever it means, we're glad they're here. On October 16th, Johnson will host a community dinner, thanks to our local churches.
It's free food, fun games, and a chance to hang out with friends and neighbors. Honestly, if you're not there, you're missing out. And I mean, free dinner? That's better than finding an extra chicken nugget in your lunch tray. October 22nd is Dine Out Night at Texas Roadhouse. A portion of the money raised goes to the PTA.
And if you ever had the bread with cinnamon butter, you know why this event is a big deal.
Forget the steak. I'd have a whole basket of bread. Actually, I already have.
Now let's turn to another big project at Johnson. You may have noticed something new behind the CLC.
That's right, a brand new outdoor classroom. Leah is out there to tell us more. What can you tell us, Leah?
Thanks, Jack and Lincoln. I'm here in a new outdoor classroom which was made possible by teachers, parents, donors, and the PTA. This space is important because it gives students a chance to learn outside in nature, which research says can make learning more exciting and memorable. And it shows what can happen when a whole community works together. Today I'm joined by Ms. Starla Kerwin, who is a parent, a Johnson teacher, and our PTA co-vice president. How did the idea for the outdoor classroom first get started?
The outdoor classroom idea first came from the PTA years ago. The PTA kind of just envisioned having some picnic tables out here where people could eat lunch or work on an assignment. But then last year when we started thinking about it around the fun run, we worked with Mr. Edwards and some of the designers from our new CLC, we came up with the idea to get furniture that was more sustainable and matched kind of the aesthetic that we have inside as well.
What kind of benefits do you think students will get from learning outside?
I think being outside gives students a nice break to get up and move their bodies and come get some fresh air, which we know is good for their brain. I think it just provides a different environment for students to do learning so they don't get kind of bored and settled inside their classrooms.
Yeah. Can you tell us what researchers say about learning outside during school hours?
I think researchers would say that just the more experiences that students have in learning opportunities, the better. So if outside of school hours, they're able to come to this spot or even work in their own homes and talk about math or read books or just discuss different things that they see outside, the more of those experiences they have, the better they're going to be.
How did you and the others raise money and support for the outdoor classroom?
We were so lucky to get a lot of support for our outdoor classroom. Our first source of funding came from our fun run last year, and students, much like yourself, asked family and friends for donations, and we were able to get $8,000 just from our student support of the fun run last year. In addition to that, some different staff members were able to connect with Steve Hamilton, who's a Warrenville resident that runs a YouTube page, and we were able to get funding from his YouTube page for a couple of months. And then we were even luckier to get a private donation from somebody who cares a lot about Johnson, and all of those funds together helped us to get this outdoor classroom.
What's your favorite part about seeing the idea go from just a dream to something we're using now?
I think it's incredible to be able to tell our students and our families who work hard to raise money for our school and support our school that this was our vision, and then now they can actually see it. And because it's outside, families can come and use this classroom when they're not in school hours. So the thought that we had an idea, a lot of people worked hard and put a lot of money into it, and now it's a real thing that we can touch and feel and use is pretty great.
Yeah, it is. Thank you, Ms. Kerwin, for sharing the story of the outdoor classroom. This shows how big an idea can turn into amazing things for students. Now let's send it back to Jack and Lincoln at the JNN headquarters.
On October 25th, the PTA is hosting Trunk or Treat in the school parking lot. Families will decorate their cars, hand out candy, and kids will get to wear their costumes.
It's safer than walking around in the dark and way more fun, especially if you find the trunk with king-size candy bars.
If anyone's giving out broccoli, though, I'm reporting them.
Agreed.
That's all the news for October. We hope you're as excited as we are for everything happening this month.
Thanks for watching JNN. We'll see you next time.
Until then, stay safe, have fun, and remember, don't blink during picture retake day, or you might end up with a photo that looks like you just saw a ghost.
Goodbye, Jaguars.